AITA for not deplaning with my husband after he was kicked off for being too drunk? I 28F recently married my husband Adam 30 meters. We are the same ethnicity and both speak our language. However, I am more fluent as I go to our home country more often as my extended family are there and it was just my parents. Me and my sisters here. Adam's grandparents are the ones who came to our country first, so he has most of his family here. And we see them more often. So I am close with his family. My parents are divorced. And around the time I started dating Adam, my dad moved back to our home country. I regularly call him. But since he moved he has come to see me twice and then was at my wedding. My dad disapproves of Adam and I have had fights with Adam in the past about how I feel I have made more of an effort with his family. And he hasn't done the same for me. Both my parents speak our home language and when we started dating Adam wasn't conversationally fluent, so there was a barrier to them initially bonding. And it was more apparent when my dad came to stay with us, but in the lead up to the wedding, my dad stayed with us and it went fine. I have been planning a trip to my home country to surprise my dad and asked Adam to come as well. He agreed and then balked when I said we were going to stay with my dad and made what I thought was a joke about having to drink before meeting him. I didn't find it funny and Adam later apologized. However, yesterday was our flight and I was coming to the airport after work, so Adam went early with our suitcases to check in and we were mean to meet up later. He was drunk and the flight attendant wouldn't let him on the plane. I called my Bill who could take care of Adam and left my BIL's phone number with the attendant taking care of Adam, and I stayed on my flight. My home country is far, so tickets are expensive, and I took leave off from work for the trip so I don't get off with Adam. Adam is now upset with me, saying I left him in a situation where he was drunk and if roles were reversed he would have never left me alone when I was drunk, but I don't think that is fair. NTA. Dude made a conscious decision to get drunk. I'm sure if he were to suddenly become so ill that he couldn't fly you would have stayed with him. But this isn't something that just happened to him or something you did to him. He made a decision to do this to himself and had no one else to blame. Enjoy your visit with your dad. NTA. This man deliberately tried to ruin your time with your father because your father doesn't think highly of him. Let me guess. Your father picked up on Adam being immature, spiteful, selfish, and poor-mannered. You need to ask yourself what someone who would do this to spite you brings to the table and why you stay with him. How drunk was this man? Planes are not a DUI checkpoint. They will let very tipsy people onto them. For him to be so drunk that he wasn't allowed to board? That must have been a project. How long were y'all apart? Was he just hammering shots? I think that this is either an alcohol problem you didn't know about, an intentional ploy to ruin or get out of the trip, or both. NTA at ALL. Adam is a grown adult who made a poor decision. Adam has to deal with the consequences. And if that means leaving him behind, so be it. Maybe next time when you and Adam plan a flight together, he will show up sober and you can enjoy your trip together. NTA. NTA. Is he always this manipulative? He planned to get drunk and probably knew they wouldn't let him on the flight for that reason. He weaseled his way out of the trip, then gaslighted you and said you were at fault. He's a grown man. Doesn't he know when he's getting drunk? Of course he does. You didn't leave him totally alone, as you called for your bill. A drunk man alone is different and less vulnerable than a drunk woman alone. Anyway, good luck with this marriage. NTA. If he's accidentally getting too drunk before a plane ride at 30, he has a problem. If he did it on purpose, he is a problem. Either way, letting him disrupt your life so you can coddle his drunk ass solves nothing. NTA. Adam is an adult and should, at this point in his life, know how much alcohol he can drink to get tipsy but not totally smashed. He's old enough to know how you should act on a plane. If this were a small trip that wasn't at a great cost, time suck, and required to take time off of work, I'd say sure it'd be good to stay with him. But in this situation? Hello. No. He knew there was a long flight ahead, that tickets had been expensive, and that the plan was to visit your family. Sorry, Dad. I couldn't make the flight because my husband, who you already don't really like, got so drunk they wouldn't allow him on the plane. No. NTA. You didn't leave him alone in a ditch. You left him where people were coming for him and watching out for him. He played a stupid game and won a stupid prize. As an alcoholic, he would have had to have been absolutely blitzed to not be allowed on the plane. I've been able to get on planes with absolutely no memory of doing so. How embarrassing. He might have been playing it up to try and get you to stay as well. NTA. I get nervous flying and part of my pre-flying routine is having a beer to relax and forget we're in a metal tube filled with combustible 30k feet in the air. Don't come at me. This is how I cope. One time it was raining and cloudy and I knew I was in for a rough takeoff and probably a flight. So I had a little more than my customary beer. I was tipsy, jamming to the music on my headphones and smiling like an idiot to everyone. I had no issues getting into the plane. Can't imagine how drunk your husband had to be denied boarding. He probably noticed that he was passing the realm between buzzed, tipsy and drunk and did not stop. Plane tickets are not cheap and the logistics of having to change your trip to accommodate an immature adult is not something you should have to do. Obviously NTA. I kind of wonder if it was deliberate. Adam expected Op to be booted off the flight with him and oh no. It is too expensive to visit Dad for a few more years. Regardless, getting drunk at an airport in your home city is not any more unsafe than getting drunk at a pub in your home city. Op organized Bill to collect him and had reasonable expectation of him being safe under the supervision of the flight attendant until Bill arrived. The husband ought to be apologizing profusely to Op and deeply embarrassed. I would feel terrible and mortified if my drunken behavior nearly put a stop to a much anticipated, expensive trip for my husband. Instead he is doubling down, which makes me cynical about his motives for getting drunk. NTA. Seems like Adam is trying to keep you away from your family. Huge red flag. You make an effort for his family, and he won't do the same. Hell, I bet it is expected for you to get along with his family. But he doesn't set those expectations for himself with your family. He knew how important it was for you to see your dad. And yet he still got drunk. He told you he would get drunk before going to meet your dad. He purposely got drunk as a ploy for you both not to go visit your father. I bet he never imagined you would go without him. He could have caught another flight after sobering up. He may have had to pay a bit more. Though, now, he is trying to play victim, saying if roles were reversed. But the roles would never be like that, as you would never do that to him. I would rethink this whole relationship and see a marriage counselor. NTA. NTA. Drunk people shouldn't expect their son to follow them down their road of drunk awe. He is 30 years old. He did this on purpose. Good for you to stick with your plan. NTA. But your husband is. NTA. Adam is mad because his planned sabotage didn't work and now he looks like an even bigger idiot in your dad's eyes. Adam did not have any intention of going and wanted to sabotage you seeing your family. Maybe you need to rethink Adam. Adam saying if the roles were reversed he would have stayed with you? Bull SHT. You would have never put yourself in a position to be too drunk to fly. My friends and I are drinkers. I can't imagine how loaded he was to be denied on a flight. We have never had a problem. This doesn't seem like a good partner. Have fun with your family and keep him time out so he can think about things. As for you, think about what you want your life to look like. NTA. Why should you suffer for his actions? NTA. He got himself into that situation. He can get himself out of it. You were nice enough to arrange for Bill to come get him. Absolutely no way should you have canceled a flight, international no less, because your husband made the immature decision to get too drunk to fly. Go see your dad, enjoy your visit, and start considering maybe your dad's reservations about Adam are legit. NTA. He can always catch a flight after he's sobered up. NTA. Don't let other people's drinking become your problem. Child and sister of alcoholics.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.